Okay, so I'm going to get a chance to make another video first on my mind today. So I brought some more books for you to see. Now, some of these are, you understand I'm homeless, okay? I don't know if you know that, but I am homeless, okay? I depend on the kindness of people that I know to give me a place to, set up my computer or whatever and have a place to lay my head. I do pretty much a solid week's worth of work that if my competitors knew how hard I worked and how much less than them, I charge, which means I have to work harder because I think it's the right thing to do in these times, especially to get the kind of student that I want to teach, because they're not often very, fixed for cash themselves, but they have a love of the same thing I love, and that's dancing. Anyway, something that everyone should see, that's a life straw that gets rid of 99.9% of pathogens, protozoas, bacterias, and it goes up to 4,000 liters, which is 1,000 gallons. And you just suck it right out of the straw right there. See how that works? You can drink out of a puddle of water. Not saying you would want to, I'm just saying that there could come a day where you have to hydrate yourself. More books on, a field guide. This is the National Audubon Society field guide to North American trees. So this is, let's see, your trees. You'll understand which trees are medicinal. Okay, and I just brought a few in. The 100 proofs that the earth is not a globe. So they've been lying to you about this. Clearly lying about this. Because they don't want you to know that heaven you're already living on. You're living in heaven, and the devil has perpetrated against this realm. Turns out the devil, and you can find this by looking at Bashar's little. I don't have time to watch much of his stuff because he's channeling, and I just don't buy. I don't care how good it sounds. I just don't buy their crap. So anyway, who's he channeling? Oh, he's channeling the good aliens, the good the Federation of Protectors, who are here to monitor and to make sure that the human race isn't ended and all of this good stuff. Well, I just don't believe everything I hear. So anyway, the 100 proofs that the earth is not a globe. If you ever wanted to argue with a clone about it, which is wasting your time, certainly this would be the book to, give you your arguments. And then terra firma. Terra is actually the name of this realm we live in. It's not Earth, it's Terra. Terra is the whole thing. But it says the Earth is not a planet. And I want to say that this book was published, gosh, for some reason I thought it was much older. 1901. There you go. That's what I thought. Think about it. 1901. This is when the mud floods, are over and they're sending us clearly cloned children. That they're happy to let us view in incubators because we're so stupid we'll never figure it out. 124 years from then. Anyway, the Zetetic astronomy, which is Robothan. This is an older book as well. And, this isn't my bag, really. This isn't my bag. My bag is to just not, I don't care about their system. Their system is not my system. Their system is what we want to leave with them. Do you understand? But that said, you are going to need to know about common law. So this is a book. Now, honestly, this book is about how to plead common law in their courts. I don't care about their courts. You understand? I'm not going there. I'm not going to give them yeses. I'm going to give them no. Give them a yes or a no. 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 The emperor has chosen. Okay? No. No. I don't give you sovereignty over me. No. I don't want you to hear what I'm saying. No. I don't want you to, accept. I'm not accepting what you're selling. I'm not, understanding what you're selling. No, I don't. So my answers are all no, nor do I accept them. I don't want you. You have done a terrible job of custodianship. You took advantage of somebody who you put to sleep. And now you've woken them up for a couple of years so that you can torment them and see how crazy you can make them based on how retarded you've acted all these years and years and years and years and years, and now you've woken us up so that we can see just exactly how insane and mad that you are. Trust me, people, watch some of it. I don't recommend watching all of it because after a while, all of the killing in it is just senseless, ridiculous, and retarded. That the O negatives, that the producers themselves of the 100 have told you, they put it on social media, that the people of the sky people are the O negatives. Now, understand that they might have gotten into Elon Musk's, satellite, that somehow they was able to come up with the technology to keep it up there while all the trouble was going on down here. But they're not from the sky. They're from outside. They're extraterrestrial, all right, but Terra is not here. It's out there. That's where they're from. And Bashar, the reason I mention him is because if you sift through a few of his videos, you're going to find out he does talk about the Anunnaki and who they are. Now, he doesn't tell you for your own good. And see, this is how they operate. They operate this way on purpose. See, first, they got the tough with us. They got the tough with us to see if we will cower down. That's what they did. They got tough with us. That's what they've been doing. They've been getting tough with us. But when they realized that some of us took the position I took, oh, you're going to get tough, huh? So, okay, you go ahead and you get tough and you do whatever you want to do because I'm going to own you in the next world. You do whatever you think you have to do to me to get your way. But just understand this. I'm going to own you in the next world. Your butt will be mine. You'll be my slave in the next world. Now, I asked one of their attorneys, what do I need to do to get out of your system? And he told me there's no getting out of it. You won't get out of it. You guys have to understand, you do not have this place forever, for eternity. You don't have it for eternity. No matter what you think, you don't get it for eternity. It isn't your place to begin with. Okay? You came in from up under because you burrow in like a worm that you are. You burrow in so that you can find out where the humans are. Why do you do that? Because you're a parasite. You're nothing but a parasite. And those of you who aren't parasites, guess what you are? You're a fungus. Have you never heard about the, about your, temple? You have to clean your temple, people. You have to clean it. If you don't clean it, you're going to always have these bastards inside of you telling you what to do. And when they run out of opportunities to have their worms tell you what to do, okay, then they're going to use electromagnetic Tesla on you, which they've already used on me. But see, they didn't use it on me to torture my mind. They hit me in my heart. Oh yes. They literally put me on the ground and had me crawling out of the police station, where the magistrate was and where their courtrooms are and all of their stinking ridiculous retarded way of life is. That's where they are. And they hit me with the directed microwave weapon right as they gave me a pen. They said, this guy is not going to sign this. He's not going to do it. So instead of waiting until I signed it, they hit me with it when they handed me the pen. Once I took the pen, they hit me with the directed microwave energy weapon so that I would sign, so we could all get out of here. We could all go home. And they hit me for a long, long, long time because it took that long for me to sign. But you know what? I don't sign nothing with them that I don't sign under duress. That's my name, as far as they're concerned. My name is under duress. Do you understand? Now, I went to court. I went ahead and let an attorney speak for me, but that's it. No more. No more. I'm not doing it anymore. Not doing it anymore. After this, you're going to get nothing but no's. So just know that. You're going to put me in your FEMA camps and your Walmarts. Okay? I know all about them too. Know all about them. You do whatever you think you got to do to me. Just know this. After this is over, I'm going to own you. Because I'm not going to forgive you. No matter what I do. Not forgiving you until I get back what you took. It's just that simple. There will not be any other way. So don't even try to count on it. Don't send me your blonde-haired, blue-eyed beauties, okay? I'm not even interested in that. And you know that. You know that. So you know that's not going to work. I'm not interested in that. Take it away. Don't want it. Been there, done that. Very unfulfilling, by the way. You don't understand. You are hell-bent on proving that you're a better custodian. But you're too busy trying to keep your dirty asses alive to be good for anybody but you. Do you understand? When you get somebody like me, you get a male and a female. That's what the A and B mean. Okay? I'm complete. I don't need any of that anymore. I just needed to grow up, have my you know, true self come back to me. And by the way, when it came back to me, just for the record, when my soul returned, what happened was I had to get myself in alignment with the food choices. Okay? I had to get myself into alignment with that. Anyway, it is what it is. It's just the way that it works. Now, we know what you're doing. We know all about the cloning now. Some of you watched my video yesterday, and if you were paying very close attention to my video, which many of you hear what you want to hear and then you lash out at me, and I just want to thank you in advance for that, for showing me who you really are. Now, some of you are very patient and you listen to the whole message, and that's why you know better. You know what I'm doing. You figured it out, so you're just patient till you get to hear the thing that you need to hear. I'm not trying to win you over, okay? You either like it because it rings true right here, okay? Right there. Anyway, I told you what Donald Marshall said about his foreskin. I flushed some of you out on the, belly button thing, and I've been doing that for a long time. Okay, just so you know. Now, I know you change your names and you try to come back in and you try to be nice to me. Okay? To me, that's a form of repentance. But if you keep coming back in here and running your mouth over and over and over and over and over again, I will delete you. I'm giving you opportunities to straighten up. Okay? That's it. Your choice, not mine. I have nothing vested in it. Nothing. You think you're the only one like you? Mm-mm. There's people a lot closer like you to being able to feel it right here without me having to work so hard. I just want to know where you stand. That's all. That's all I'm doing. So if you were paying attention, Donald Marshall told you that he was cloned from his foreskin that was taken from him when he was 4 years old. How many times have we been told that this foreskin is a sign between us and Yahweh? Okay? That he's going to protect us. How many times have we been told that in the Bible? And yet now the truth comes out. Donald Marshall told you the truth. They are cloning you, people, from your foreskins. They do it from the women with the pap smears. Okay? And they do it from the men with the foreskin. It's not religious. Yahweh doesn't love you. Yahweh loves you in as much as he can get something out of you. What does he want? He wants you to slave for him. He wants you to worship him. That is it. That is all. That's all. Now, do you understand what I'm telling you? I'm telling you right now that you are being cloned, men, from your foreskins. This may literally be where your dreams come from. Literally. Think about it. How many times have I woke up in a dream and had a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, buxom beauty, buck naked, standing, well, let's just say getting her business done, okay? You think that's, I'm just dreaming? No, that's happening to my clone, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something else. you're gonna get rid of your clones, because I'm gonna tell you how shifting works. That's what this movie is that I keep pretending to forget the name of. Shifting is what they do in that movie, The Shift. Okay, why do they need to shift you? Because apparently you exist in different places, people. You're all clones. Just know that. You're all clones. But some of us have a soul. And that soul is getting shifted. That's what's getting shifted, is the soul. If the householder comes back in this world, you better have your dirty asses cleaned up. That's all I'm going to tell you. You know, I don't care what you do. You can eat whatever you eat. I don't care. I have no interest in it whatsoever. I could care less. You know, fill your face up with dead things for all I care. You gluttons. Okay? Do it. I don't care. There's enough of you to start over without me depending on you. Just know that. I don't have no dependency on you. You don't seem to understand. I'm going to get my way, one way or the other. The question is, are you going to get yours? Well, I'm telling you, for you, there's one way, and that's you're going to clean your dirty ass up. It's just that simple. Now, fasting is definitely a part of it. People will say, oh, well, you know, I shouldn't kill all these tapeworms, you know, and flukes in my liver. I have a person, a friend, who literally has a son that they took 2 gallons of fluke piss and shit out of his stomach yesterday, okay, and sent him home packing. And they probably did him a favor because, again, he's like them, not like us. See, they wouldn't do that for us, do you see? Because they could have done that at any time. But they did it for him. They told him it'll take a year for you to be cleaned up if you stop drinking. See how it works? And I got asked by a black person today, you know, that I don't really know. I just see her because of a place that I go to get my juices. And she finally asked me about the sun. And she asked me what that was all about. And I told her, I said, well, would you rather worship something that has been saving your dirty ass since the beginning? Or would you rather worship a guy whose name is Zeus, but all of his children are called Zeus too? I'm not into worshiping people, okay? I'm into worshiping the light of the world. Do you understand? That's what I'm after. And furthermore, for you melanated people, just also understand, okay, that you are literally the people of melanin. You should be asking yourself who you really are. And while you're having to find out this information from a white dude, okay, your God is not Zeus, okay? Now, you can say, well, you know, my blood type is Rh positive and it's O, so it's O positive, so, you know, I'm with Zeus now. Well, you don't have to be. He took many angels with him of his own angels, okay? And that's another thing that Bashir does cover. He does cover that not all of the Anunnaki agreed, were in agreement with Inky, Stinky, Winky, and Enlil and Anu. They weren't all in agreement with that. Why? Because they'd already seen how they had ruined their own, you know, Their own earth. Do you understand? They had to burrow up in here so that they could get themselves the gold that they needed to put in the air. Are they putting a gold in our air? No, no, no. They're taking the gold from here after ruining our place. They're taking the gold to wherever they are, because wherever Anu is, okay, they got to have it as good as they can have it, because the command center has to be, protected. So they take all resources of all places that they go, and they send it to the command center. This is why, you keep being told you're not going to have nothing. You're not going to have nothing because we don't have nothing, people. That's all a big lie. You're not going to have nothing because they're taking it. They're taking it like little ants crawling under giants. You understand? They're pulling out all your resources, and they always have. And this place is a great and resourceful place. But look at it. We got to go back to the way things were. They're going to leave us with literally nothing. Why? Because they know that they can't control us. If there are too many of us, they know it. Bashar, I think is his name. Look at some of his videos. You'll find out everything you want to know. Now, he won't tell you that he's Anunnaki, but he certainly knows what they're doing. So he certainly could tell you, if he wanted you to know, that he's Anunnaki. And you're going to find out. In fact, he says he's something else that I never heard of before. Again, they always come under a false flag. Just, you see how it works? Oh, we're here to help you. Better think about accepting anything from them. We don't want nothing from them. We want them to go away. Let me tell you something. They know that we're powerful enough to get what we want. They know that we can wish them away. That's all we have to do. They know it. They know it. That's why they've tried to make us as sick as they possibly can make us sick. That's why they've given us the drugs. That's why they've, lied to us about everything. That's why they pedophiled our children. That's why they have treated our women so bad. Just know that they've done that. These are not people that bear anything for you whatsoever. If you don't love yourself enough to get that, you may be in trouble with them. Don't be stupid. Don't be ignorant. Don't be sleeping when they knock on your door. And they will knock on your door. Because many of these things that they're doing now, like some of the things that they've done with me, they did with the idea that they might be able to control me. That didn't work out too good for them. So if you hear me talking about the Anunnaki's good, the Anunnaki's this, the Anunnaki's that, let me just explain something to you. When and if we ever find any good ones, they're going to have a lot of splaining to do. A lot of splaining. Just know that. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to continue on with Donald Marshall, but before I do that, I just want to read this to you. This is, we talked about Enlil talking to Admiral Byrd. That's Enlil, there's no question about it. The absolute least is that Enlil is dead, and it's his son or his grandson or whatever. Do you understand? They're all the same. They all have the same title. They all inherit the same title. So if you are the Lord of the air, or the Lord of the sky, which Enlil was, wouldn't that make you the prince of the power of the air? And Enlil's bragging to a bird about this black storm that's coming. What's that black storm? That's what they're doing now with covering the sun. Yeah, that's what they're doing now. Just saying. So where did our governments, where did they get the technology? Okay, doesn't take a genius to figure it out. In fact, one of my new books, let me just cover that with you. I've got so many here. Oh, here it is. Here's one of my new books. It says, Angels Don't Play with This Harp. Advances in Tesla technology. Well, first of all, just a couple of things. Angels' children do play with this harp. Angels' children do play with this harp. That's what I would title it as. Advances in Tesla technology. Well, that's Trump's family. Come on. That's Trump's uncle. Come on. Who do you think you're kidding here? So when we get down to all of this torture that they use, where they literally use, no touch torture, what do you think that microwave weapon that they used on me? See, I had to be hit with the microwave weapon so I would know what is going on. Do you understand? Yeah. I had to go to jail. And of course, I made a nice little speech up there to them when they sent me packing to 60 days of jail for being in contempt because nobody could explain to me who my accuser was on a seatbelt violation. They just shut up. They're like, I'm not going to say a word. Let's see how far he'll wrap himself up in this. So that's exactly what they did. And I told them, I said, the day that you go into the ground will be your last day here. And I'll be standing on the sidelines. I told them this. They know who I am. Why hadn't they already killed me? Because they hadn't quite got the firebrand that comes out of my mouth yet. That's why. But don't worry. I'm working on provoking them. Because I want to own them before this is over, and I will. They are way more scared about this than we are. Trust me. They're way more scared. And you can tell that by the reactions that some of the people have on this site. If you go and you watch the 100, you don't have to watch very many episodes. There's 16 episodes in some of those years, and there's 7 years. Goodness gracious, I don't know if I'm ever going to finish this series. I'm too busy to be binge watching this show. But one thing I've learned is they will justify anything whatsoever to save their people. I don't care who they have to kill to do it, they will do it. And even though some of them are starting to badmouth the killers in their bunch, they're thanking their lucky stars it's them and not them, the killers that are doing all this, because they know that they're going to pay. before this is over. But see, you got to speak up. You got to stand in direct confrontation with this kind of behavior, or it doesn't matter. You're either complicit with them or you're not. Anyway, I want to read just a little bit more of Bird's story. It's not going to be long, and then I'm going to skip back over to Donna Marshall. So it says, from this point, I write, let me back up a little bit more. Another radio message received. We begin landing process now, and in a moment, the plane shudders slightly and begins to descend as though caught in some kind of unseen elevator. It's called a tractor beam from Star Trek. It says the downward motion is negligible, and we touch down with only a slight jolt. It says, I am making a hasty last entry into the flight log. Several men are approaching on foot toward our aircraft. They are tall with blonde hair. Is that the Anunnaki people? I just want to know. Is that the Anunnaki? That's them. Let's listen to how they're described. And later it'll tell you how they're described. In the distance is a large shimmering city pulsating with rainbow hues of color. That explains the aurora. It says, I do not know what is going to happen now, but I see the signs of weapons on those. I see no signs of weapons on those approaching. See, they don't need it. All they have to do is touch their little insignia. That's all they got to do. They don't need to have the weapons for you to see. They can just go, boom, you're done. You see how that works? And if you don't believe me, ask the guy that was building the underground Los Alamos, the white-haired dude whose father was a Nazi, where he said all he did was wave. This reptilian literally waved his hand across his chest and whammo. And he'll show you his hand and his arm. He'll show you exactly how, he was hit with a microwave weapon that gutted him like a fish, and that's with his own mouth. So just know they don't need weapons. All they have to do is wave across their chest. That's it. It says, from this point, I write all following events here from memory. It defies the imagination and would seem all but madness if it had not happened. The radio man and I are taken from the aircraft. We received the most cordial manner. We were then boarded on a small platform, like they have in airports where they kind of just, you don't have to walk. You can just be carted from one end to the other. It's like a conveyance with no wheels. As we approach, the city seems to be made of a crystal material. Soon we arrive at a design board of Frank, perhaps more correctly, out of a Buck Rogers setting. You see, they've been trying to tell us for years that this stuff is not science fiction. Okay? So now you know it's not science fiction. We are given some type of warm beverage which tastes like nothing I've ever savored before. It is delicious. After about 10 minutes, two of our wondrous appearing hosts, see, he can't talk about them without talking about how beautiful they are. However, if you see them in the movie Prometheus, the giant in the movie Prometheus who's turned gray, he's still a giant, but he's turned gray and his eyes are black. They're not so pretty anymore, are they? That's because they messed up big time. And though Enlil may have been able to keep out of that, all of the fighting, he's talking about, later, which I covered in the last video, giving us our technology back. So we got to cycle through this all over again. See how they do it? oh, we'll just be the gods and they can worship us. And then, we'll make all of these proclamations that we'll call prophecies. And it'll be part of our script. And then in the end, they'll worship us. Because we're so great anyway. They should be worshiping us. Look at all of the stuff, all of the little gifts and Christmas toys that we give them to play with. Oh, goodness, they should worship us. We're like Santa Claus. After about 10 minutes, two of our wondrous appearing hosts come to our quarters and announce that I am to accompany them. I have no choice but to comply. I leave my radio man behind in the short distance and enter into what seems to be an elevator. Now, from here, I had read to you later in my last video. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and go back and look at the last video and look at it all the way through. And by the way, look at all of my videos all the way through, or, stop maligning me, okay? Stop maligning me. I know you're scared and you should be, but stop maligning me. If you're not looking at my videos all the way through, you shouldn't get to have a say. You can ask questions, but you shouldn't be able to give your opinion because you don't know. You don't know. Okay? You may think you know because you're one of their Freemasons, okay? But trust me, even their 33rds don't know what I know. Many of them do not. So if you're some sort of low-level Mason, you probably get more from here than you ever got from them. Anyway, it's too bad you didn't get it sooner. You might have been able to avoid their dirty asses. Says, talks about the Flugelrads, which are their flying machines. Everybody knows the Nazis had that technology. They called the main one that they were willing to talk about was called the Bell. Bell. Interesting how it's always a bell. Bell is dancing with the devil in Beauty of the Beast. And then they move another letter around ball so that we can play these games. And in a way, those games do keep them out of trouble. That's a great, ingenious invention. Was to have these football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever, games for them to play because it keeps them out of trouble. How ingenious is that? But if you ever hear the things that they say to each other, and they love Larry Bird so much because he had the worst mouth of any of them. He even was willing to speak to his coach that way. Just trash talking. If I pulled out my book of Og, you would see exactly where Bird gets it. Shocking. They use it as an intimidation tactic so that, because they can't break the rules, they can't just, beat the crap out of the people they're playing, although sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll even go after a fan in the stands. Think about it. I'm just telling you. So, he talks about the Dark Ages, and I want you to go and look at that because what he's talking about for 500 years, the Dark Ages, talking about the mud floods, people. Talking about the mud floods. And as soon as the mud floods are over and the shift from black people running the world to white people running the world, then we get all them clones. Now, if you read the Lost Book of Inky, you'll see that that's what they were doing from the beginning. They were making Lulus. This is nothing new, people. It is nothing new under the sun. Just because you're hearing about it now and belly buttons and all of that, and foreskins and pap smears and all that, doesn't mean that it hasn't been going on from the beginning. They do this everywhere they go to control the place that they are in. And they always use the hominids because they need somebody to shit on all day. And that's what you are. See the 100. See it. And know that what I'm telling you is true. They make no bones about it. These 100 are the O negatives. They have killed more people. Now, granted, they've always got a great, group to battle against that seems like there's no way they will ever get out of whatever it is they got themselves into. But they do, because they're ruthless and they're smart. They're smarter than the retards that they go against. That's all. That's all that gets them by. That's what saves them. Talking about the O negatives in the TV show, The 100. And again, I haven't gotten through the whole thing. But I can tell you that every time there's a new season, they got a new nemesis. The first season, they killed their first nemesis all the way down to the last person. But in the season that I'm in now, season 5, they're starting to realize the mistakes they've made. Oh, a little too late. Let's see, can you repent of your behavior? That's going to be the thing, isn't it? See, they've already eaten their underlings. They got to a place where they didn't have no other option but to have gladiator games, just like we see Donald talking about in the underground bunkers. But this time what they do is they whoever they kill, they harvest for food. And then they'll go as far as to make the ones who don't want to eat it, they'll kill them right there in front of the other ones. See, that's how they operate, like they did with my daughter. But at some point they realized that's not going to stop me from doing my job, because I want her to own you, Damian Ratliff. I want her to own you in the next world. See how that works? It backfired on you because you thought you had it figured out, but you don't. We have it figured out now. We have all of this under control. Believe it or not, it's already under control. We know who the true God of this place is and who the Atlanteans were worshiping before they started to worship themselves. Once they started worshiping themselves, what did they do? They sank into the sea with Enki. Enlil's living under the earth. Don't you understand? He's already living there. We are the grounders, the true grounders. I'm not talking about the made-up ones from, in all truthfulness, there are Canaanites that live on the ground. But those are not the hominids. And they do have a group that they call the tree people. There ain't nothing like them that's like tree people, just so you know. Now, you can say whatever you want to about these great apes. Oh, well, occasionally they do kill somebody in their, competing tribe and eat them. But that's since you've been here. That's since you've been here. None of that was going on before. You taught them how to do that. Don't you understand? You taught them how to do that. Uh-uh. Our God is going to restore us. One way or another, He's going to restore us. Now, many of these A and B positives, I'm just going to tell you, you have more in common with me than you know. Listening to me and eating the proper food would do you a lot of good, okay? I know I've been hard on you, but just know that you have as much as in common with us as you do in them. But you've got a lot of repenting to do. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, okay? But just know this, do not love your life more so than, you can afford to. I'm just saying. Make sure that your death is going to put somebody under your feet. That's what you need to do. That's exactly what you need to do. But in order for you to not all be together in the same place, you need to take the high road. You need to take the higher road. You need to do it now. Don't delay. Do it now. I'm trying to help you, and I always have. All right. So anyway, I'm done with Admiral Byrd. Let me just double check. I do have time to cover some of Donald's stuff. Says, Donald wants to stop REM-driven cloning now. That's what he wants to do. Says, do not panic, riot, or cause chaos. This is very important. Now listen to what he's going to say. Says, now I must preface this carefully because members of the Illuminati have told me that I have to put this in an eloquent fashion in a way which does not make people panic, because people finding out about REM-driven cloning and the extent of the evil it has been used for and continues to use it for, it could cause loss of social order, riots, and anarchy in the streets. Well, that was very nice of him to put it exactly the way that they see it, because that's exactly the way that it is. But again, we're taking the high road. Stay with me. We're taking the high road. Moreover, I too do not want riots and anarchy in the streets, despite the fact that I am vehemently angry, considering the extent to which they plagiarized my talents over the years. If you are a good person reading this and you want to help and you want the social order restored for the benefit of mankind, promise yourself, me, all the innocent children they have affected through REM-driven cloning and the children of the future, that you will not riot and destroy a world for children who are going to inherit the world. Well, we'll consider that. We're not going to agree to it right this minute. Says this is very important. Remember, the Illuminati have highly advanced technologies kept hidden in secret, including weaponry, and they are just waiting for any excuse to use it on the populace. That is true. Now, what they're trying to do is scare us with the Julia Roberts movie, in that we won't have peace and security when they're gone. But really, that's what we want, people. That is what we want. We don't want to forgive them. See, if this was something that they did once, see, the people ahead of me were way smarter than me. Now, I don't know how they managed to not see the loophole. the loop that keeps cycling, where they get to come back in and do it all over again. Do you understand what I'm saying? It says, in all revolutions, the populace will always win. And I want this disclosure and the end of the REM-driven sleep cloning to go smoothly. I want the good people of the world to keep spreading this information, keep spreading this disclosure all over social media. Tell your close friends, your family, and as many people on social media platforms as you can. The internet, the radio shows with small audiences are the only forms of communication the Illuminati do not control. They own all forms of it. Well, we know that they own Facebook. I mean, for God's sakes, Elon Musk owns X. Do you understand? Twitter, whatever. Tesla. Who gave him the Tesla? Donald Trump, right? Well, who else could give him Tesla? Is there anybody else that could give it to him? Just Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the descendant of his father's brother who got it all. Just know that. They own all forms of television networks, including the Aboriginal People's Television Network. And he's probably talking about Canada. And therefore, a message as important as this will never reach the average man or woman through television because it does not serve their agenda. Exactly what I'm trying to say, people. They want to win, but they don't want to win at the cost of having a very unsuspecting group who does not know. Look at what the Pope said. What did the Pope say about following the beast law, which was Sunday worship? What did he say recently? You can go look it up on TikTok. Just put in the Pope's confession. What did he say? He said that at the second resurrection, they're going to call you in. And look, it's going to be Anunnaki, okay? But trust me, they're not going to be the highest people there. They are the accuser. You understand? They are the Satans. They're the accusers. They're not going to be the highest people there. That is not going to happen. But they're going to ask you, why? Okay? Why? Why did you do what you did? And whatever the answer is, it doesn't matter. You're human dung to them. They own you. You will not get a fair trial from them. Therefore, there's no way they can judge you. They might be judging you here, but not there. Now, they have told you that if you continue to serve the beast and worship on Sundays, that you're going to be questioned about it at the end, and then you're going to say, well, I didn't know. And they're going to say, well, that's too bad. Well, that's what they say. You understand? That's what they say. And it doesn't help their case when there's people like me around telling them the truth. Do you understand? When my servant, Mr. Theo, was talking to you about this, did you not consider, in that way, trust me, they will use me. But the bottom line is that they don't ultimately get to judge you. No, how fair would that be? I mean, really, how fair would that be? It wouldn't be. You want to make sure that you go to the proper place of judgment. That's another thing. There's all this information. Go to the light. Don't go to the light. Go to the light. Don't go to the light. Go to the light. Don't go to the light. Confusion. They want to keep you confused. Anyway, Therefore, a message as important as this will never reach the average man nor woman through television because it does not serve their agenda. See, they don't want it to get out to everybody. They know that we can produce through procreation, which, by the way, may just be coming from them. If I am A and B, why do I need to procreate anything? I'm both male and female. Do you understand? So why do I need to procreate? I may never do it again. Now, of course, I was ignorant and stupid and retarded for most of my life, and then a storm came over my house. I've heard the speech where Bush Jr. calls it the angel in the cloud. So maybe they did give me back my, knowledge. But I'm not working for them. I'm working for me, and I'm working for those who, want to live in a kinder, gentler place. It's just that simple. I'm going to keep it that simple because that's the truth. I don't want to live with these people. Do you understand? They go one place, I go another. And if that means my family separates, well, let that be until my family can grow up and pay attention to what's going on and possibly go through what I went through. Anyway, spread this disclosure document until it reaches the armed forces. Now again, he's being told by the Illuminati. I agree with him. You will not beat them. Going to war with them is... Now, will they have people go to war with them? Absolutely. They've already made their clones and their clone families, and they've been going to war since, the first one. Look, 1901, right? 18 years later, there's a world war, right? Think about it. I just want you to think about it. Does not take a genius to figure this stuff out. All you have to do is pay attention. Pay attention. It's just like Donald telling us indies about the foreskins. I didn't get one person, not one of you asked me, well, what about that cloning from foreskins? That's like every male child that's white for certain. Think about it. Maybe not everyone, but almost everyone. As if that's the only way they can do it. And yet we were cheated and lied to about why we might cut our foreskin off. They made us with foreskin. Do you understand? They didn't have to do that. They made us with foreskin so that they could clone us. Yes. Okay. Yet they do not know how corrupt their governments and people in high-profile places are. They are unknowingly defending these corrupt people. Anybody that defends anybody who's a politician, that's everyone. You might as well go to their churches. You might as well go to their educational institutions. You might as well go to the military. So Donald's going to ask you to go to the armed forces. Do you think that that's going to help? I have not seen one cop that wasn't retarded. You show me one cop that's not... Tell you what, if you know a cop, better yet, a sheriff, that isn't retarded, I want you to give me his name and phone number. Every one of them are retarded. So what makes you think the military is not retarded? They're not going to lose unless they can't deceive us. I've already given you the secrets. They cannot live without paying back their karmic debt. You continue to say no, 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 just like Michael Douglas in the movie Disclosure when Demi Moore was trying to seduce him and the phone was on. And so they got a recording and they heard him say no like 10 times. No, 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 no. And the smart lawyer asked, well, you know, at what point does no not mean no anymore? I mean, you know, you have sovereignty here, people. You have it. You don't depend to get it from them and their little tricks to do it. You just have to know what's being done to you. And you have to be willing to be smart enough not to be deceived. Now, if you want to be deceived, you go right ahead. Throw in with them. You're going to be food before it's over. Speaking of which, let's look at all these pets that you're putting up in your house. I'm talking about your cats and dogs. I'm talking about your Canaanites that are licking you on the hand, and then you rub your hand across your mouth like that. Or you stick it in your eye like that. Or you know, up the nose like that. Well, hello. They're getting you that way pretty easy. Now, I love I know you love your pets, even the Canaanite pets, okay? I mean, look, this woman followed her cat around for, I don't know, a couple of days, and she was appalled by the number of birds that this cat killed, okay? It's an apex predator with dirty ass stuff being filtered through its body. In fact, think about it. Cataholic Church, dogma, wolves in sheep's clothing. Oh, look, we've got some hybrid dogs over here. Let's see if they'll eat vegetarian. Here, let me feed my dog a vegetarian, rather vegan blend. Dog looks at you, turns its nose up at you. That's it. That's the end of it. My cat did that to me. A couple of days later, it was walking around on its front paws, dragging its back legs. I'm not making this up. Now, I wish I had known more because I love my cat. It was a ragdoll. It was the most beautiful, sweetest cat that I've ever seen in the history of my world. Okay? Had I known better, I would have dewormed her. But I let the bastards over at Petco put her down. I would have liked to have given her a second chance to eat the vegan food. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's nothing that I wouldn't do for you. Remember that. We all fall off the wagon. Anyway, people in the armed forces will not defend these corrupt people. That's not true. They'll do what they're told. Let me just explain this to you. No offense, Don. Choosing not to fight is one thing, okay? But believing that the military is out for your betterment, you better think again. We're talking about the same people that had 8,000 kiddie porns on the Pentagon's DOD servers. 8,000 kiddie porn being sent back and forth between these bastards. Don't get deceived, people. Don't get deceived, people. Don't get deceived, people. Don't do it. Now, I've got one of their colonels that I've had many long conversations with that made damn sure that I had computers from the time I met him, to the time I took over, had my own guy do it for me. My Joe that I, have had since he was 20. My computer guy. But before then, I had Jim, and Jim built every computer that I had. Why? Probably so I could talk to you about this. I don't know. Maybe they thought that I was going to help them out. No. No, I'm telling you no. No. I don't see no repentance in the military. When I do, I will let you know. Kiddie porn, 8,000. 8,000 children. Maybe they were sleep clones and they weren't really hurting the children. But as Donald told you, he had a heart condition because of all of the things that they did to him. Let me tell you something that's not right. This cloning business is not right. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. It's got to go. Not to mention that these are the warmongers of the world. If we just get rid of them, send them packing into the underground bunkers, which they've already made for themselves because they know they're going. And then latch it the door, put a bar across it, there won't be no war. There won't be no more. People will eat the things that they need to eat, just like they did before the bastards came. Then they'll be encouraged with the lock on the door, not being able to get in and control here. They'll have to deal with their dirty asses. It will come down to either they'll find another place to terrorize, or it'll come down to they will finally lick their wounds and get themselves right. Either way, we can't help them. They have to do this on their own. My daughter has had to do this on her own. That's the one thing I have learned. Anyway, when it says they are unknowingly defending these corrupt people, people in the armed forces will not defend these corrupt people. Let me tell you, this is why I used to teach. I hadn't made a video in a very long time, but this is why I teach about the Milgram experiment. The Milgram experiment is finding out who in the educational, institutions is retarded enough that they can control and get them to like push the button at Auschwitz. That's what it's for. The Milgram experiment. Go and look it up. There's like 3 different times. In fact, my favorite time is when Eli Roth does it. That's the most recent that I can tell you about. Go and look it up. This is what they were doing. Let's see where we can get our lawyers, our military, of course they've always gotten their builders from there. But I'm just saying, ooh, look, we've got an opening in the Freemasons. And these people are already trying to get their degrees, right? Well, let's show them the real degrees. Let's give them a little help in business. Yeah, that's what my grandfather said. He had heard about a club that he could belong to that might help him in business. See how they do it? They will never give up their money. Listen, let me tell you something. My brother-in-law, Coast Guard, what's his job? He literally operates that gun that comes from a Navy battleship that they put on a Coast Guard cutter. You think he's going to give up his cushy life? And now he's got all kinds of problems. Probably because he didn't listen to me. When the truth passed by him, he had itchy ears. You understand? He couldn't hear. How many times am I talking? I had a conversation with a lady the other day, a melanated lady, and I was telling her, why would you ever want to worship a God that is not melanated, or at least that doesn't protect the melanated? And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, Zeus is basically enslaving the melanated people. He's not protecting you. He's enslaving you. And why would you confess his name, Jesus? I don't get it. And all of a sudden, she blinked out. She blinked out. I had to literally get her back onto the floor and start dancing. So it happens all the time. Seed planted. Seed planted. This is the same woman whose daughter put her in her bedroom when she had COVID for like 3 weeks and fed her through the door. She was not allowed to come out of her room. But she did feed her vegan food. Raw food. Yeah. For 3 weeks. She felt so much better after 3 weeks that she said, she proclaimed she's going to follow this diet. I'm talking about an O positive woman. So those of you say I don't help y'all, you're wrong. I'm helping you by even talking about this. You help yourself. It is not my job to help you. Anyway, long story short, I was there when she fell off the wagon. We all ordered food, and she ordered fried chicken. I looked over and I said, "You've fallen off the wagon, aren't you?" And she laughed about it. Yeah, I guess I am for just this one time. Well, her life went into a tailspin. Many of you who are watching me right now know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about because it's happened to you. It happened to me too. I said, well, maybe I can eat turkey. Maybe I can just have a turkey sandwich. I'd really like to have a turkey sandwich. So I ate some turkey sandwiches and it made me feel terrible. Not to mention everything in my life went into chaos again. I said, I don't need the turkey. I can see right now it's a problem. See, that's the difference between a lot of people and some of you. When you get spanked, you don't apparently know how to go, what did I do? If you've got a guardian angel, which whatever guardian angel I have, I'm not all that. I don't care about right now. I'm more interested in my higher self. Now that's where I go for my inspiration, is my higher self. And I've already told y'all, my higher self is the sun. Now that's the light of the world. You can say, oh, you're worshiping idols. Oh, you're worshiping idols. Well, you're worshiping an idol. Last time I checked, the idol on America's, what is it, American Idol? There's no sun there. There is literally no sun there. There is just people trying to be idols. You understand? Okay. I'm trying to help you. I know you're hard to teach, so am I. But you can figure stuff out. Anyway, you keep coming here, you're obviously interested. So let's go back to this because I don't want to lose this before this video is over. It says these corrupt people have been growing duplicate clone bodies of civilians, transferring civilians' consciousness to their duplicate clone versions when the victim reaches REM sleep. Well, Donald talks a lot about that, but they don't need REM sleep clones. And by the way, clone is also referred to as organic. Now, watch my mouth. Why I say this, watch my mouth. Why I say this, organic robotoids. Organic robotoids. What is that? That's a robot. That's a Lulu in their Sumerians texts. That's a Lulu. That's a clone. What do you think their MEs were? See, according to Bashar, they can't reproduce any other way. They can't do the natural birth thing. So they have to be inseminated. This is why, since the turn of the century, and probably before, because, you know, we've got Spielberg's movie of aliens out west with, you know, the James Bond guy. I'm just telling you, they never left. They've been here from the beginning. They never left. They've been here from the beginning. This is like a chessboard to them, that's all. And torturing civilians in their sleep, having sex with underage REM-driven clone children, having sex with the innocent and unsuspecting adults as REM-driven sleep clones against their will, torturing REM-driven clones for sport, for making money-making ideas to benefit their own pockets while they make the innocent civilians sick and have side effects in their original bodies from REM sleep-driven cloning technology. Think about it. This is how they get their technology. You know, they don't think like we do, so they don't know really what we like until they steal it from one of us. The armed forces will not accept that. I don't agree with that. I think that these are the same retards that are the cops. Donald's wrong about that. Therefore, keep spreading and sharing this information for everyone to see so that it reaches personnel in the armed forces ASAP. See, this is why they keep talking about the white hats and the black hats. But we've already been told that it is an agenda that they ran already during the Bolshevik Revolution. This is how they got past their enemies, because they kept giving hope that the white hats were going to come in and do something, and they never did. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. All right. So I'm gonna continue on for a little bit, and then I just want to do one more thing. It says, in the Illuminati think they are very sly and untouchable because together they hold most of the wealth in the world. We don't care about this world. That world that is coming is what we care about. We must show them that we are not that they are not untouchable. Please do not do all you can to share and spread this message. It is the most important message to ever reach the internet because it affects all of our liberties. I agree with that. I think we should talk about it. I think you should get all of Donald's books. I think you should get some other books too, which I'm going to discuss with you, but not today. I must also address the readers who may feel afraid in spreading my message because they may want to do the right thing, but they are terrified of the an Illuminati may degrade or end their lives. As unbelievable as the next thing I'm going to share sounds, it is a belief system which shapes the reality of the Illuminati. Therefore, they themselves are afraid to do anything which may degrade our lives or eternal soul. That's the part I'm talking about. They know. They know that what they have to fear is that courtroom that they don't control. Now here, that don't exist. But when we get past this and we get into the courtroom where they are no longer the boss, that's where they know we got their asses. And they will know it, because that's exactly what's coming. They will not avoid that. They have one choice and one choice only. They have chosen this path. They're going to see it through, and then after it's over, they're going to work themselves back up. Maybe. That still remains to be seen. They believe that they are the fornicators mentioned in the Bible, and if they were to degrade or harm the lives of anyone aiding me, they would suffer the wrath of God when they die. See, that's what they're all afraid of. That's why they keep being, thanking Mr. Roboto for giving them a place to hide. Well, what Roboto is that? That's Robotoid, people. Who do you think Kilroy is? It's McElroy. Think about it. It's McElroy. Who is McElroy? Do you know what the word in Irish means kill? Do you know what it means? It means church. So who is Roy? Roy is basically another name for Ra. It's Marduk. Yeah, McElroy. But it could have easily been McElray. But they chose to do the O. And sometimes they do that because that's showing you what blood type they are. Now, their DNA is X. There's another DNA they're not telling you about, and that's the W. But that's why woman is called woman, because it has a W shape to it. Okay? Now, they want everybody to have an X because they think that gives them power over you because you have their DNA. And you may have some X's, but the bottom line is that's not what determines your femaleness. Okay? They believe that they are fornicators mentioned in the Bible. They if they were to degrade or harm the lives of anyone aiding me, they would suffer the wrath of God when they die. Notice I said when they die. Well, that's when, you know what? Even if that was their own God, that could be true. Because what they do here affects Anu over there. See, Anu ultimately is going to get just as much blame as them. That's why I won't let Nangashita go. Thoth, whatever. Because they're going to all be tried together, and then we're going to separate them based upon who really did love the hominid people. Okay? And by the way, you A and B positives, that's you too. But so long as they are still alive, they can do all the evil they like with little consequence, as they do in their REM-driven clown versions at the clowning center, worshiping Lucifer and doing all sorts of ungodly things. Boy, it's convenient that they've got Lucifer, isn't it? That way they can say, oh, no, your God is Yahweh. It's very convenient. Says they even say God does not exist, only science and technology, yet they are afraid of dying. This is the crux of what I'm trying to tell you, people. Very afraid of dying because they believe they meet God's judgment, and they do. You don't pay for it in this life, you'll pay for it in the next. I'm just relaying what they have told me. They are weird like that. They also follow Hopi Indian prophecy, Mayan prophecy, Nostradamus prophecy. Again, because they're retarded, they have to have a script. They mix and match those three prophecies and come up with their own religion of what may or may not happen in the future. Let me tell you what's going to happen, Illuminati. Satan's ill light is naughty. Here's what's going to happen to you in the future. What's going to happen to you in the future is you're going to pay in kind for everything that you do, one way or another. When you die, that's what you'll do. You'll see. And you apparently already know that. So it goes on to talk about Donald Marshall is not the New Age savior. Nobody wants to be a savior. He's right. I don't want to be one. If I was doing this for that, I would have made sure you had to pay me to hear every little truth I've ever given you. And yet here you are, you have not paid a dime. Nor have I ever asked you for anything except to do your homework. So I'm not the only one doing all the work. Well, I have to work anyway. Okay. There is one more thing that I want to do before I let you go. I'm going to have to do it fast, so just bear with me. Give me just a second. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. My computer's a little slow. Again, I'm sorry. Let me see. Two. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so I did this the wrong way. All right, hold on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this another way. Okay. All right, this is my other song that I always listen to. This is basically Two Princes. This poor guy that sang this song for the Spin Doctors, can't sing anymore. So when you consider this is a song about Ningishita versus choosing Ningishita versus Marduk. What they would like you to do is choose one of them, because if you choose one of them, they still get to be in charge. You get to pick the more gentle, loving version of the Zeus, hierarchy. Thoth or Ningishita versus Marduk. Not much of a choice if you ask me. But let me read this to you real quick. It says, 1, 2, princes kneel before you. And that is what I say now. Princes who adore you. Just go ahead now. One has diamonds in his pocket. That's some bread. In other words, he's got cash. Now, the one said that he wants to buy you rockets. He ain't in his head now. Okay, so one's going to give you cash, right? The other one's going to give you an army. It's never any different with them. Do you understand? This one, he's got a princely racket. That's what I said now. Got some big seal upon his jacket. Probably Star Trek seal, whatever. Ain't in his head now. You marry him, your father will condone you. How about that now? You marry me, your father will disown you. He'll eat his hat now. Marry him, marry me. I'm the one that loved you, baby. Can't you see? Ain't got no future or family tree, but I know what a prince and a lover ought to be. Now, he ain't got no prince. This confirms what I've said about him before. He ain't got no family tree because he's a homosexual. Do you understand? No, nothing against homosexuals, but, you know, he's not producing seed. Said, if you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. And if you would like to tell me maybe, just go ahead now. And if you wanted to buy my flowers, just go ahead now. Buy me flowers. And if you like to talk for hours, just go ahead now. In other words, you know, talk to your genie. Talk to your demon, you say, and ask for what you want, and he'll give it. Because he's the one that gives out all the commerce. Do you get it? It's like I've always told you. Anyway, this is the song. I think you might know it, but if you don't, you can always look it up. It's Two Princes by the Spin Doctors. It is what it is. All right, that is going to end it. So I covered quite a bit for you. I'm running over. Sorry that my video was long, but it just is what it is. And I will have some books for you to be looking into next time we meet. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. Have a nice day.